We live in a world ruled by tyranny, where knowledge is suppressed and ignorance is glorified. A world where propaganda and misinformation travel the airways at the speed of lies. But in the midst of the violence and chaos, a great awakening is taking place. And as the media empires continue to collapse, a new network is forming. A network of truth, a network of courage, a network of awareness. Peace and greetings. You are now tuned into the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, where we examine current events, politics, health, finance, and topics of cultural relevance in America and throughout the world, while bringing you insightful interviews with guests that will both educate and inspire you. And now, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, Aura the Informationalist.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo. How you doing? How you doing?
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Peace and greetings, beautiful people, to all my brothers and sisters trying to make the world a better place each and every day. Yes, we got this beautiful episode for the installment of the Narcissism series. And this is episode 19 of season 5, which is Great Understandings. And this episode is called Be Grateful for the Narc, better known as the narcissist. And I'm going to talk about why we should be grateful for enduring the narcissist in our lives. And hopefully many of us have overcame the narcissist and have completely turned off the lights, have completely disconnected for good. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because this is an episode about being grateful for something that only can strengthen you spiritually. So why not be grateful to the Most High for strengthening us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and any other way we can be strengthened in this thing called life. So I want to talk about why it's so important to understand that by enduring and being able to overcome and survive the malicious, aggressive attack from the narc, that what it does for you is it helps you to improve moving forward with all aspects of life, especially when it comes to setting boundaries and being able to understand what is good and what is not good, what energy works and what energy doesn't work. So we're going to discuss these things because I think it's very important to be grateful for the trials and tribulations that we go through, especially when it comes to overcoming demonic attack or being able to overcome that demonic spirit that many narcissists have. So let's get right into it, shall we?
All right. The informationalist.
Okay, welcome to the show on being grateful for the narcissist. So there's a lot of reasons why I'm in particular extremely grateful for the narcissist. And I'm going to give some insight into this as well as some education on what to be aware of when you either are dealing with this person, of course, and hopefully for many of you that are listening are not dealing with these types of people anymore. At least that's what I hope for. But at least if you are, you can understand why it's so important to get away from these people. But of course, this episode is more about the gratitude and really what we're really grateful for when dealing with the narc is really being grateful to the higher self, which is the Most High. Being grateful for that because that's really what got you to understand why it's so important to be grateful, because being with these types of people strengthen you in a way where you start to take your life a lot more seriously, especially when it comes to dealing with situations, when it comes to socializing, just overall with people, no matter what degree of relationship, whether it be a relationship with a family member, whether it's a relationship with a friend, or whether it's a relationship with a stranger that you're trying to develop, somebody that you're getting to know on any degree. It could be on a business level. It could be on a personal level. It could be in a romantic way, whatever it may be. You get such a great education by being with a narcissist and surviving the experience and truly being grateful for what you learned, because what it does for you is really help you to navigate through certain situations that you may come across with other people that necessarily are not narcissists. They're not at all, but you're able to distinguish what is good for you, what works for you, and what doesn't work for you. And you can start to see a lot of toxicity within people, because I truly believe that us living here on this world that's completely polluted with toxic energy, it has a way to where it can affect all of us. And most of us, if not all of us, have some type of toxicity. The good thing is that those that understand it, they get rid of it. And then there's others that get stuck in it. But the good thing is you can understand what toxicity or what level of behavior is completely intolerable for your well-being. And that's really what I'm going to cover here, because that's why I'm grateful for the experience that I've had with narcissists in my life, because it really helps me to not go through other situations once again with other people and wind up repeating history, because that's really what can happen. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be with a narcissist. And something that I've realized is that in the past several years, I've come across people that are not narcissists, but are just not good to develop anything, whether it be a friendship or any type of relationship with on a one-on-one basis, and giving them my time as a friend and my contributions as a friend, and just kind of splitting ties, because that's really the best option. And it's not just with the narcissist. Sometimes it's just best with people that are doing things that you know doesn't work with you. And sometimes it's indirect, sometimes it's direct, but whatever it is, once you have dealt with the narcissist, you become very disciplined in not dealing with certain things, especially when you've even tried to compromise and that compromise kind of goes dead. And I'm going to get into all this, but I'm giving you an overview of what I'm going to discuss here on today's episode, because it's all about awareness, right, people? That's why, I love the title of the show, of the network, is the network of awareness, because we really have to be aware these days. I think it's important for us as human beings to be aware all the time, because we were designed that way. We were born into a state of awareness. The problem is that through our conditioning, our social conditioning, whether it be through our upbringings and then of course into adulthood, things get really rewired in a way where it's detrimental to the well-being of any human being. That's why it's a constant battle in this spiritual warfare, because the battle is to become aware of the Most High within you. That's the real true battle. And the good thing is that narcissists are so evil, and I do believe there is a demonic presence to that. A lot of psychotherapists don't believe that narcissists are demons. Some do, but very few do, because they're saying, hey, they're just human beings that have gone through extreme trauma, have a great sense of insecurity. Some of them have gone through the worst type of trauma, but they hold it as a badge to basically inflict pain, which the term hurt people. But I truly believe, based on my own personal experiences at that there is a demon present there. Whether they are the demon or whether the demon is possessing, it doesn't matter. The demonic presence is there. Because why? Very simple. Everything is based on frequency, which means that everything on this planet, in this realm, in this plane, because this is just a realm, everything is based on frequency. So everything is based on spirit, because everything is based on energy. Now, with that being said, let's get into why it's important to be so grateful for the Narc. It really is. You really need to appreciate them from a long distance, right? Because there's obviously, you don't want to have any contact with these people after you've pretty much let them go. But what they do for you is they give you such a great understanding about patience, temperance. They really help you to really examine your personal experiences on a private level, meaning your alone time when you can really reflect on things. And I'll give you an example. Like, I was in a situation where, you're getting to know somebody and they're not a narcissist, but sometimes people have certain what I would consider conditions to fear, to anxiety, to not understanding some of the things that they haven't let go, insecurities or whatever. And sometimes that can come out in their behavior. Now, it doesn't necessarily make them a bad person because there's a lot of good qualities to them. But when you've dealt with a narcissist and you've already been through that experience on a very high level, especially if you're somebody that's experienced a lot of the abuse that they can inflict on their victims, on their prey. And I could tell you that in a very short period of time, I had a lot of these things done to me, and not just by somebody I was in a relationship with, but throughout the years, I had friends that would do these manipulation tactics a lot. So what it's done for me, it's strengthened me to know what it is that I could spot out and be like, you know what, this is toxic. This is not going to work. And this is only going to spiral into something worse. So let me cut this off now because I know it's not going to work, because I'm not being allowed to freely be in a relationship or getting to know somebody in a manner that is fruitful or that is simple. Because a lot of times people would like to make things complex. And that's the big problem in the world, because life is simple. The Most High made this whole entire realm to be simple for us, gave us everything we could possibly need. But the desire for men to want more, which is usually the control. And see, control in itself is narcissistic, because things are already under control by the Most High. Things are already in order. If we were the types of people, which many of us are, but that's the battle, right? That's the spiritual warfare. It's that battle of those that want to control and those that have let go and let God or let the Most High. But when it comes to that, I was in a situation where, there are going to be people, and this can go for males or females, but there are going to be people where they want to find something wrong with you. And I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. I'm the type of person that I used to, I guess, somewhat be like that, but I stopped being like that because I felt like it was going to limit me from actually seeing all the beauty and the good things and all of the wonderful and righteous things within somebody when getting to know them. But if you're in a situation or ever have been in a situation where you have to, pretty much let them go in the long run. And what I mean by let them go is just really not continue to try to build something from that, because it's not going to work. There's always going to be something, and it might just be that one thing. And the thing is this, is that when somebody wants to find something wrong with you, and you can tell that it's something very petty or something that you've already kind of let them know, like, hey, if I've rubbed you the wrong way, my apologies, but this is not what my intentions are. This is not what I'm trying to do. Let's talk about it and explain it and, hopefully move on from this. But when a person can't move on from that point after you broke it down to them, it's usually because they want to find something wrong with you so that can be a starting point for something else, or for them to have it in the bag pretty much, so that they can just say, hey, this is what I don't like about you. And they keep pointing it out. They keep bringing it up. They keep getting an attitude about it. And it's not going to lead nowhere, because sometimes people can't just enjoy a good thing. And when that happens, you going through what you've been through, this is why it's so important to be grateful for a narcissist, because that certain behavior is intolerable. And that's how you mature, because you can say, and I can tell you in my situation, I just understood that this behavior for me is intolerable at this point, and I have to just digress, because what else can I do? I've already tried to come to an understanding. I've already tried try to explain things. So the only thing for me to do is move on. But see, that's why you have to be grateful for the narcissist, because they've pretty much given you a great education on what is good for you and what is not good for you. And when you're able to identify that and able to let go like you did with the narc in your life, then it makes you that much better in not wasting time in things that are going to be a waste of time in the long run, because you allow for certain things that are not well or good, should I say, for your well-being. And that's one situation. I can tell you another situation that happened to me where I used to have this dude that I was friends with. And, the brother was very intelligent, very good, kind brother. And let me tell you something, man. This dude, I really, even to this day, I still like him as a friend. I still got a lot of respect for him. Obviously, I don't hang out with him no more. But if I was to see him, I would give him the utmost respect, because I think deep down inside he's a good dude. But there were situations where, I noticed certain things within his character and his behavior that was kind of like suspect. And I remember that I just the year before had cut off a 23-year friendship with a friend that was very narcissistic for 23 years. Of course, when I was 18 years old, I didn't even have a clue of what narcissism was at 18 years old. Had no understanding of that. But, as I got way, way, way older, finally I started getting a concept of what this is. But I was experiencing it the whole entire time within a 23-year friendship. But when I cut that friendship off, because I was pretty much done with the narcissist, who was my friend, it woke me up to so many things. But what also happened was that I got a hell of a lot better. Like, life just got better, people. Let me tell you something. For anybody that's listening to this show and you have identified that you are dealing with a narcissistic person on some type of level, whether it be a family member, whether it be a romantic partner, or whether it be a friend or a business associate or whatever it may be, once you let that person go, and I mean cold turkey, like cut off, boom, done, never speak to you again, just completely put yourself in a zone where you're going to just let them go. I'm telling you something, life is going to get better. And I'm guaranteeing that for you. I'm putting 110% money back guarantee that you are not going to come back for a refund on this. I guarantee you it's going to be one of the best experiences, best epiphany, awakenings, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to see it quickly. It's going to happen almost instantaneously from the moment you make that decision. But of course, I would say give it at least a month for you to really enjoy it, so you can really understand that it is real. But with that being said, going back to this friendship I had, I started to notice that he would do certain things that was very egoic, especially when it came to how we would interact around women. And I started to realize that he was the type of person that really thrives off of attention. And if he wasn't getting the attention that he normally gets, he would try to throw a monkey wrench in the attention that I was getting, that I really didn't care if I was getting or not. It's one of those things where I'm not the type of person to look for attention, but I noticed that about him. And I also just felt like he was dealing with people that are into magic and all types of witchcraft type of stuff. And because of that, I was just like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Really can't mess with that. Even somebody that they knew, or that he knew, or that, his significant other knew, they was a full-blown Satanist. And that was an obviously red flag, because for me, I just know what doesn't work, man. And there's just certain people you don't even want around you at any given moment. And because of that, I made a decision. I had to weigh all those things in. And as much as I like hanging out with him, I had to be like, you know what? This ain't going to work for me, man. But if it wasn't for that 23-year narcissistic friendship that I had with that friend, I probably wouldn't have made the decision that quickly and realized, hey, this ain't going to work, and just moved on from it. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so important to be grateful for the narcissist that you've pretty much survived the onslaught, really, because their level of manipulation, people, is very advanced. And most of us, we're not looking to be manipulative. A lot of people are just not looking to want to manipulate a situation. Most people, or should I say the majority of good people, they're just looking to enjoy the experience of life. That's all they're looking to do. They're looking to enjoy the experience of life. And with the narcissist, they're obviously looking to manipulate what that experience is going to be like. So when you can overcome that and you can start really seeing the value of what your life, like seeing your life as a valuable, experience. You want that value to increase as much as possible. And dealing with somebody's toxic behavior or ignorant behavior is not going to increase that value of your life. That's why you have to know what to cut out, what doesn't work, what to let go. And sometimes you have to let go of something pretty quickly, like I did. Because, once I realized that this person was trying to look for anything wrong with me, like trying to find something there, they're gonna find something, because that's the thing, man. I know this because I grew up, I was raised by a parent like this, where it's like they're gonna find something wrong where there's nothing wrong. It just is what it is. You ever gone out to like a restaurant with somebody and everything is great? I mean, the service is wonderful, the food, the ambiance. I mean, it's just a great place to go eat. But there'll be that one person that's with you, and sometimes it could be your significant other. Sometimes it could be a family member, a friend, whatever it is. They're gonna find something wrong. They're gonna say that the bathroom wasn't clean enough. I mean, it could be anything, and it doesn't matter what they find to be wrong, because in their mind it's wrong. And no matter how much you try to explain to them, like, hey, that's not the case, it doesn't matter, because they're gonna find something wrong no matter what. There's nothing you could do about it. Like, that's just one thing you have to accept. See, what happened with me was I realized that, hey, this situation is not going to work for me. And because it's not going to work for me, as much as I may have liked this person, and I truly believe they're a beautiful person, but the fact that they were hung up on that, it's like, hey, I guess, whatever beautiful experience or whatever can happen from beyond here, I guess it's not going to happen, because that doesn't work for me. There's a certain level of self-respect and love that you start to have for yourself once you overcome the experience of the narcissist. And it puts you at this very high level frequency of understanding to where you have empathy and you realize that you do. So you utilize it, but at the same time, you can cut it off because you realize that some things are not worth being empathetic about. And it's time for you to just move on, because you've attempted to resolve something that may have been misunderstood, but then it continues to be misunderstood. And that's when you know, like, hey, this is not good for me. And if you're in a situation like that, make the right choice and move on, because some things are just not going to work. Some things just don't mix, people. Certain energies are just not going to come together, especially if it's somebody that's trying to find something wrong, because if they found that wrong, I guarantee you they're going to find more things wrong, and they're going to make you aware of it. And that's a situation you don't want to be in, because I truly believe that people in this time, this day and age that we're in, supposedly we're in the year 2022, which we know that's a bunch of nonsense. But, let's just say that the Gregorian calendar is correct, which it's not. But just for hypothetical purposes, let's just say this is all correct. We're in a time right now where we have a society that is very uncertain, unstable, and toxic. So you have a lot of types of people that they're gonna be stuck in the matrix, and they don't want to get unplugged. They think they're unplugged, but a lot of them are still plugged in to some degree. Sometimes people don't necessarily have to be plugged in on a societal social conditioning level. Sometimes people are plugged in emotionally. Some people are plugged in emotionally where they haven't released themselves from the emotional matrix. But the good thing is, with people that have survived narcissistic abuse at a high level, they have, and they get to understand that, hey, there's things that work when it comes to energy, and there's things that don't work. And that's when you really become free, because you can start blocking situations that nothing good is going to come out of it. And I'm so grateful for the recent narcissist that I was in a relationship with, because when it comes to dealing with women, I'm able to spot certain things out very quickly and able to disengage and be like, hey, this is not going to work for me, man. This is not even something that I even want to continue to entertain, because the level of understanding that it's not going to be able to produce anything of value is so great. And that's the beauty of being grateful for the narcissist, because you deal with your life in a manner where it's only that which works And I'm going to say it again. You start to operate in a manner where it only that which works. If you are fully disciplined from learning from that experience. I have to mention that too, because there's many of you that have dealt with the narc and you are good to a certain degree, but then you fall back. You fall back because you get desperate or you have a relapse. It's like a drug addict. Like you have a relapse and you fall victim again and boom, now you're all addicted again into a narcissistic relationship. And it can be something completely different than what you experienced before. Or you can start just accepting certain things that don't work and tolerate it when you know it doesn't work for you, but you just deal with it because you don't want to let go of that experience. You don't want to let go of that person and what they can do for you or how they make you feel certain times. And then you just get caught up again in accepting a flow of energy that is not really flowing. It's very disruptive. It has some good moments and some bad moments. And the bad moments is the moments that, everybody's going to have situations that they have to overcome with somebody. Don't get me wrong. Not everything is going to be perfect when any relationship. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that there's certain behavior when it comes to people that you have to make a choice. Is this acceptable and unacceptable? And I can tell you that for me, if somebody's trying to look something wrong with me and everything else is right, but they want to try to find something wrong to pretty much bitch about, nah, that doesn't work for me because I'm not giving off that energy. And if I'm not giving off that energy, damn sure best believe that I'm not going to be wanting to just receive it. So people, this is not going to be a long episode, very brief. I wanted to get straight to the point. Be grateful for the narcissist. Be grateful because you've overcome a major ordeal. And what it's doing for you is it's strengthening you to understand what works for you and what doesn't. Because a narcissist was everything that didn't work in the long run, right? Because in the beginning, you thought it did work. You thought everything was great. And that's another reason why you should be grateful for them, because the facade that they give you, the fakery, the honeymoon stage, the whining and dining, so to speak, or the love bombing or whatever it is, that there's certain aspects of that that's very positive. Obviously, you don't want that from a narc, but it's positive because somebody who genuinely really does love you and is going to be generous and kind and truly be that person that's not trying to sweep you off your feet, but sweeps you off your feet because they are truly genuinely like that. That is something you can appreciate as well when you see it. When you can see it not coming from a different angle. When you can see it in a way where the person is not trying to gain anything from you. They just are that way. That is another great education that the narc can give you, because now you can recognize really good behavior. You can recognize righteous intentions opposed to those intentions that may seem righteous but have some type of an agenda on the back end. So I hope that what I was able to explain about this experience with the narcissist was helpful and has given you some great substance to move forward in dealing with different types of relationship dynamics. And all I have to say is understand that, it's very important to love yourself. You have to love yourself. I don't think that many of people in the world today truly love themselves. But when you truly love yourself, and this is why the narcissist you have to be grateful for them, because they force you, in order to leave them, they force you to love yourself. They put you in a situation where it's a do or die. Either you are going to love yourself, which helps you to let them go for good, or you wind up not. And you wind up just continuously to suffer into complete misery to where you don't even know who the hell you are anymore. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for listening to this show. Download the Network of Awareness episodes from your favorite listening platforms, wherever you can listen to your podcasts, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple, or any other platform. Of course, please sign up via email to my website, which is networkofawareness.com. You can get the episodes and download them from there as well. It's very simple, easy to navigate. I made it very simple. There are some adjustments I'm going to make to the seasons because I think that's got kind of wacky where they're mixing up the episodes and the seasons, but all the episodes are there. And last but not least, a lot of good things coming into this Gregorian calendar new year, but also good things coming into the new year of our brothers and sisters that are in this truth from our children of Israel in March. So I got a lot of great things coming to share as far as just with episodes alone, but also we're going to be advancing our level of influence as a network. network of awareness. But until then, thank you for listening to this, Be Grateful for the Narc episode. And last but not least, when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, brothers and sisters, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up that tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is Orr from the Informationalists from the Network of Awareness, saying peace, love, and light, and all praises to the Most High.